Hello.
Hello, everyone. Seems to be working.
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, so always away again today. Um, yeah, I think we're ready to start. Most people on the call now. Yeah, I can quickly start with updates from Lighthouse. Um, in the past 2 weeks, we haven't really made a lot of progress in PeerDAS. The Lighthouse node has forked from the main the main chain, and we've been looking into the issues, and it seems to be related to how we do block lookups, and it seems to struggle a little bit when there are multiple forks going on. So we've been looking into it, but we haven't made too much progress. Yeah, hopefully we can get it to sync again with the network. But yeah, I think leaving the DevNet running is good for now. Because we try to see if we can sync our fixes to the rest of the network. Other than that, we've also been working on the get blobs v1 stuff, so less related to PeerDAS, but yeah, that's currently where our focus is. Hopefully, get the get blob v1 stuff out first, and then we'll get back to focusing on PeerDAS DevNet. Yeah, that's pretty much all from Lighthouse. But we'll pass it to maybe Prism.
Hey, hey everyone. Yes, during the last 2 weeks, yes, we work on several stuff. First one is when running a data column by range request against Prism full node, sometimes this node does not return data columns correctly. It was a bug which was noticed by the Teku team. There is no issue for Supernode, only for Prism full nodes, and so we work on a fix on this bug. Also, we work on optimization during the sync. Before, for example, if I don't know, Prism node needed column 5 for block 10 and column 7 for block, let's say, 15. So the Prism node was requesting column 5 and 7 for blocks 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which is like a lot of waste of resources from the peer we use and for the overall network bandwidth. And we work on an algorithm to really request by range only columns we really need. Also, currently, Prism is only able to think about data columns from peers which custody a superset of our own custody columns. Basically, it means that Prism node is only able to fetch data columns for super nodes, which is an issue, and we work on this. Now Prism is able to sync for every node. And also we have sometimes an issue during the sync where at the end of the sync, especially if there is a lot of different forks, Prism node could be stuck on a bad fork, and so could be unable to finish the synchronization. And so we work on this. That's pretty it. And yes, about the DevNet, it seems that all the 9 all the Prism nodes are currently up and running and proposing blocks. And that's all for me. Next one, I don't know if Teku is here. Or any other client.
Hey, I can go for Lodestar. So I don't really know the reason why the forks happened, and maybe, but I know that once the fork happened, and some of the Lodestar nodes fell out of sync because they were restarted or whatever. They couldn't catch up with the fork that was up to the slot head. And so I debugged and figured out the reason for that was that Lodestar was, for example, taking blocks from one fork, which was not synced up till head, and then it was trying to get the data from the other fork because the first fork itself might not have the data, and probably that was why it was stuck in the first place. And so even with the Lodestar restart and rain saying Lodestar was not catching up, and that was particularly the reason for that. Although I think we have in our logic of rain sync that basically we don't group the peers, we keep the peers separate for different forks. But I need to know what is going on because it should not have happened that it fetches blocks from one fork, and in the next round, basically when the peer shuffling happens, then it picks up the peer from the other fork. So I need to debug why that is happening. But I think that is the reason why none of the restarted Lodestar nodes were able to sort of sync up even after the data wipe. And yeah, so basically this was a particular reason for it.
So are you saying that low star nodes are able to sync from scratch to head?
So for example, so Lodestar node should have been able to screen from because there was one fork, I think, in which there was also one Lodestar node, one Lighthouse node, or I don't remember which other node. So there were 2-3 nodes which were still running unfinalized, and still basically those were the nodes which were to the head of the slot. And I tried to make Lodestar basically sync off that. But again, this problem was occurring where it was not able to sort of fetch a batch properly, download a batch properly, because that is what it was doing. And I did verify that the nodes, there were a few super nodes in the synced fork, and I did verify that they had the data that was needed to sync. So that is what I figured out was the reason that it was picking blocks from the unsynced fork, and then and obviously it didn't have the data, so it was then trying to get the data from the synced fork peers, which obviously did not have it because it was a rain sink, and obviously they shouldn't be serving it anyway. So all that was correct behavior. But yes, so the bug in the Lotsa is that it should have when it goes for reshuffling and to get data, for example, if didn't or whatever data it didn't get in the previous round, it should not select the peer from the other fork, and that is something I need to debug, because as such, by default, it should not be selecting peers from the other fork.
I see. Yeah. Thanks, Gajinda. Who else want to go? Maybe Solius?
Yes, hello. So, Hang Leng from fellowship program was working on PeerDAS. He did a reconstruction because we didn't have that before. However, seems there is still some bugs that prevents us even with syncing the PeerDAS DevNet 3 network. So I mean from Genesis. So yeah, I think we will keep debugging. So yeah, not very ready at the moment. That's all.
Thank you, Solius. Have we got any other client teams on the call? Nimbus, Teku, anyone else? No, doesn't seem like we have them. Yeah, then guess we move to DevNet updates. Do we have anything from DevOps?
Not really. I mean, network is broken. I'm happy to roll out any new images or, build the database and try to sync. I don't think we have any update from our side though.
Cool. Yeah, before we move on, is there anything else that anyone wants to talk about regarding the DevNet?
There's a proposal of probably relaunching with only supernodes. I'm not sure if that's something that we want to consider.
Does anyone have any opinions? We've kind of mentioned ours on the Discord chat. Not sure if anyone else wants to have any thoughts about running a supernode only network.
I mean, I would basically like to wait a week so that I can sort of figure out the bug. Otherwise, I'm fine.
Yeah, the relaunch wouldn't be like on this week. If we do relaunch it, it would probably be next week or even the week after. It would be very good to get this chain back to finalizing so before we do that, I think.
As I said on the Discord, so there is 1/3 of supernode in total on the network, and currently there is 1/3 of synced supernode as well on the network. So it seems that being a supernode or not supernode does not really help to sync currently on the DevNet. So I'm not sure that running a full supernode network will help.
I mean, I think one thing about that is that to begin with, the fact that the network breaks into pieces, I mean, it might not be the case this time, but it can always happen also because of the fact that there are full nodes. Like, especially if it's like a relatively small DevNet and it's 2/3 full nodes, which I think on in the actual validator set that would never really happen. It seems like just making things like unnecessarily hard to me. Like, yeah, it's it doesn't seem like in this case super nodes are doing any better, but on the other end, you can't really know that the reason that the more complicated situation happened has nothing to do with the fact that there's a bunch of full nodes. At least that's my, yeah, I mean, I'm not involved in debugging the DevNet, so definitely not going to impose this opinion. But yeah, it seems unlikely to me that it wouldn't be easier to just get a DevNet working with supernodes. Like that should really look a lot more like 4844 basically. And like, yeah, it feels like it should be like a good first step. Like once you have that working, then you know that most other problems should be because of partial availability, as opposed to always wondering like, is this because of partial availability or is this just some kind of random bug that doesn't really have anything to do with PeerDAS actually.
I think that's a good point, and possibly we could do that for the next DevNet to reduce the scope. Reduce the decimal scope at least.
Yeah, I agree that like using full nodes kind of make everything a bit harder. But I also think that we should probably wait for a bit to debug the current DevNet issues and see what they are, and then maybe when we do the next launch, we could consider having more validator weight in the super nodes. And if we need to test full nodes, we can always like run full nodes locally for testing. It feels like it's probably good to give that a try because having full node only network on us small peers like small node sets a bit difficult to really figure out what's happening. It's hard to find peers in the right columns if we don't rely on super nodes, and especially when we have fork, it get even worse. Any more thoughts on this topic? It seems like we just need like a bit more time to debug the current DevNet now and see what we want to do with the next DevNet. But it seems like a good suggestion to consider for the next DevNet. Cool. Then maybe we can move on to next topic. Is there there's nothing on the agenda. Anyone like so I just wants to check if anyone wants to have any discussion regarding spec.
There was a discussion topic last week about the reconstruction, the speed of reconstruction, and whether clients should reconstruct only finalized epochs or everything when they are forward thinking from Genesis. I think this came from the fact that Prism was thinking, I don't know, one slot per every second or something like that, due to the KCG commitment completion overhead.
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, it was not about reconstruction. It was about verifying the proof, the KZJ proof during the during the sync.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good point. So yeah, so currently Prism has two issues. First one is, yeah, regardless the block is finalized or not, during the sync, we do run all the verification, including KZJ verification, which take really a lot of time, and and the majority of time spent during the sync is actually spent into the KZJ verification. Also, because we don't verify KZJ proof by batch, but sequentially, which is yes, we lose a lot of time in this, so it's a bug we have to fix. But also, yes, the question is, do we really have to verify these KZJ proofs for finalized block, because they are already finalized, and so normally they are already safe. So the idea was to, when thinking, was to not verifying proof for finalized block and verifying proof only for block which are not yet finalized. I don't know what other clients do. I don't know, for example, Lighthouse, do you verify KZJ proof for finalized block or not?
Yes, we do at the moment, but I haven't really noticed any issues with the verification time. I haven't looked at the verification time myself. The single verification time looks okay, but I haven't looked at like how long it takes, like on average for a block. So maybe something that we can look at next. But curious to hear if any other clients have any issues with verification times during sync.
Just curious, when you are verifying proofs during sync, how are you calling the verify batch function? Like how many proofs do you verify per verification function?
Yeah. It's one issue in Prism. We do not batch the verification. We do it basically block by block, which take a long time, while we should be able to batch multiple. No, sorry, we do verification column by column, yeah. And we should be able to batch verification and it should really improve our verification time. So it's one issue we have in Prism.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm wondering, okay, so you're doing column by column. You can upgrade to doing it, verifying the entire block in one call. That would be the next step. I'm not sure if there is a step after that where you verify multiple blocks in one go. You know what I mean? Like maybe you can pass multiple blocks at the same time in the function.
Yeah, I have to see. I have to check.
Yeah, but I think back to the question whether we really need to verify. I'm not sure, but I feel like it would be best if we verify and not rely on the majority, even though it's finalized. I feel like that's what we do with blocks. So I feel like we should also verify the KZG.
If you're someone that doesn't have the whole data, I think you definitely should verify, because otherwise you can't know that like if you just download a single column, you have to know that it actually matches the commitments. So I think it's like really like a must to verify, even if it is finalized. If you have the whole data, I think in principle you could not verify the proofs and just kind of check the like you take a whole blob and you could just compute the commitment and check that it matches the original one or something like that, and maybe it's faster than verifying all the proofs. Like you could just kind of forget about the proofs and just check equivalence or like correspondence with the commitments, and then you could only maybe check the proofs if someone requests, like if someone wants the column from you and you need to send it to them, you could check the proof just before doing that. But I don't know, this might just be like more complex than just checking the proof. And like I'm not sure if it's that much faster to not to do it this way.
But that would require you to backfill all the blobs. No?
do clients not eventually get blobs for the whole period, like the whole 2 weeks or whatever period, even if like even for parts that are finalized?
I think we do. And I think that's the requirement to sync back to 18 days.
But you could start validating even without that, no?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. But we have to serve the data if we can. So
Could you not do the verification based on request?
as in like when we request column from peers, do we not do verification? Was that the question?
Yeah, so basically you would only do the verification if someone requests that column from you, instead of verifying while you're thinking.
On Prism, we only verify when we receive the column. If we run a column by round request or column by root request, before storing the column in the store, we run the verification. But once it's done, we never run the verification again.
Yeah, it's the same for Lighthouse.
Is it a big deal then that it's 25 seconds for like a, what was it, 25 seconds per epoch,
Yeah,
I think?
yeah, no. Actually, yeah. Actually, I think if I run verification by batch instead of verification linearly like I do it today, I think it will really solve the issue. It will take, I don't know, I have to do the math, but something like 2 seconds instead of 25. And so I think we can consider there is no problem anymore. And so, yes, we can continue to verify for finalized block. It won't be an issue, especially if, as you said in the Discord, a lot of people will probably think from a checkpoint sync. And so the sync won't last long.
Hey Manu, when you said 2 second, how many block is that?
Sorry?
For the 2 second time that you mentioned, like how many blocks is how many blocks?
No, I just said 2 seconds like that. It's not. I don't know. I just know we have. I just know for, let's say, something like 64 blocks. I had 25 seconds of verification, and so I hope that for 64 blocks we can have 2 seconds of verification. But yeah, really don't take this figure for a scientific publication. I don't know.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so maybe it's worth for us to test out the optimization and see like how fast we can get the verification to when we do batching. Yeah, we currently I don't know if we do batching on range sync. I don't think we do at the moment. So that's something we can optimize for.
Actually, Justin just did some napkin math. So he said, he said, so yeah, for 1,192 columns, so he got 40, verifying column by column, he got 40 seconds on his computer. And after batch, it takes only three seconds, between 3 and 4 seconds. So it's quite a huge time improvement using batching.
Nice. Cool. Then I guess we that seems like a good next step to try to like implement the batching or the optimization on the other clients as well. I guess next topic we could talk about metrics, Katja.
Yeah, hello everyone. I would like to proceed with this PR. I will share in the chat. So I've split the big PR into small parts. So the first part is more about the DAS process verification, reconstruction, and I feel like we are more or less agree on this part. Do you have any? I would like to share the screen and make a short demo of how it works. Here is the link for the dashboard. If the clients have the access to the dashboard. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So currently this PeerDAS metrics specs dashboard is here in my folder, but I hope maybe we will move it into consensus clients later. So what we have now, we have filters where we can use super nodes or full nodes or both, and we can choose the client as well, and even the node separately. For now, we have, for example, how can we use this dashboard? This is Lighthouse, and we can see for this group of metrics that we have some issues. I mean, you don't only use logs. I think it's not easy to use logs because logs contain a lot of messages. But here you can see strictly to the point what issue you have. For example, for Lighthouse now, we count the requests before gossip verification here. And here we can see that there are some issues with verification. And we see the failures as well. And you can easily compare your metrics with other clients, for example, Lighthouse and Teco. If we do here, oh no, sorry, not edit, but view. So these are for supernodes, and you can filter them. And you can, oh, here today, Teco has issues for this metrics. Let's check full nodes. Oh no, as well. So for example, you can compare your values with the values of other clients, and sometimes it can be helpful. For example, Grandin, which is in the building mode, actively building mode, it uses. I would like to hear from you. What do you think of this group of metrics? They are about reconstruction, computation, inclusion proof. If you have any opinions, or we can maybe merge already and implement.
Yeah, I think Lion mentions a suggestion last time to look at the metrics and consider like which ones are necessary to be part of the spec and which one are just nice to have in individual clients. Because yeah, I think the more standard metrics we have, it will be harder for clients to change things. So it's a bit more rigid. So I kind of wanted to figure out whether we need all the metrics. Are all of them going to be useful for every client, and is it worth comparing these metrics between clients? If it is, then sure, we should include them in them all. But just trying to figure out whether these make sense for all the clients. For example, like the processing request total, I don't know if that's something that like all the client track things this way, because I think this is a bit closer to how we do it in Lighthouse. I guess maybe other clients do it similarly as well.
At least in
But yeah,
Teco,
yeah.
I've implemented it for Teco. Yeah, we have the same now. But probably for full nodes, it depends on how many sidecars you custody. And another note, if you implement the metrics with these names, you will see them on the dashboard at once. And another one, I would like to, sorry, I just skip from the topic. That currently Kurtosis also has this dashboard. So if you just want to check and run it locally, yeah, you can find it. It is named PeerDAS metrics, so you will find it easily. You launch Grafana in Kurtosis.
I guess maybe now this is broken down into individual PRs. Maybe we could try to look in at least the first PR, this one you have on the screen, and maybe all the client teams can have a look and see if everything's okay. Because I think Kaja has been talking about this PR a few times. I think last time we had this call was quite big, and we decided to move out the P2P and the gossip stuff. I think now this is broken down to just PeerDAS. I think it's a bit more easier to maybe just discuss on these items that's raised. See if we want to add any more or even just modify any of these. I think maybe we could look into targeting getting this merge in the next 1 or 2 weeks if people agrees.
At least I encourage you to try, maybe at least locally. And if you have like, I think Prism team has this one metric that should be just renamed. Yeah, and you will see it on the dashboard. And please feel free to add your issues here in the comments if you have issues about these metrics. And yes, Jimmy said we have another PR, which is more, we have a hot discussion about P2P metrics and gossip sub metrics. So I think we will just move it to the next call.
Yeah, I would focus personally on the PeerDAS specific metrics because that doesn't require any renamings from table metric names. And all of these should be new metric names anyway for every single client.
And maybe if you have, if you use any specific metrics that can be helpful for other clients, yeah, also feel free to share in the comments what would be nice to have as well. Because I use the dashboard often, and I can see the issues when they appear. So for me, it looks like another helpful thing for testing.
For Lighthouse, we also have a few more metrics that could be interesting. Maybe I'll come into this afterwards. Because when we're doing the gap lobs experiment, we're using a few more metrics. And for example, the computation second one, the beacon data column cycle computation seconds, that metrics, we also have labels for it. I don't know if this is something all the clients want to implement, because then we can kind of look at the numbers based on the blob count as well. So that's the whole thing. I will have yeah, I'll see if I can add a comment on the PR afterwards.
Yeah, thank you. And regarding to the seconds, I've experimented with the milliseconds and seconds, and it seems like seconds are enough. Let me quickly show you. So these are seconds, and these are milliseconds. Milliseconds seems too detailed. I don't know if you agree or not. So we can also discuss it, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this might go into too much details on the metrics, but I wanted to ask whether the bucket is also part of the spec, because I think that would, if we're going to use the same metrics, the bucket will be quite important to also be part of the spec.
I think we can proceed with it. I don't know, maybe later, or we should do it now, because, for example, I'm currently implementing histogram for Teku, and Teku doesn't even have an opportunity to change buckets at the moment. So this is what I'm trying to solve. Yeah, but I think it should be helpful as well. How I see it, we can later add buckets as well, and probably the average values, so everyone can see.
Nice. Is there anything else, or otherwise, I think the client teams should review this PR and add feedback in the next week. Thanks, Satya.
Thank you. I will share the second PR as well in the chat. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Any other spec discussions?
One quick question. Has anyone started working on rebating PeerDAS branch on top of Vectra? It's probably still a bit far-fetched, but just a temperature check.
Yeah, in present, Vectra is in the develop branch, and we rebase regularly, let's say every two or 3 weeks. We rebase the PeerDAS branch on top of develop branch, which include Vectra changes.
I'm just checking if we both target Alpha 8 for if we do a relaunch with supernodes only. So that would be basically require, I think, a rebase for every client. But if it's too much work, then I don't think we should spend extra cycles on it.
Does anyone know, like, what's the state of the Petra DevNet, like how stable they are, and whether they're launching the next one soon?
Yeah, so DevNet 3 is very stable. It's 100% participation right now. DevNet 4 is targeted to be launched by the end of this week, hopefully. So there's still client implementations that needs to be done, but as of this spec, it's kind of frozen as of now. But I think we might have at least one more DevNet before we can go on to forking public nets. But that's going to be a small change. Like I don't think we're going to have anything major added to Vectra anymore. We could, of course, wait till Pectre is absolutely stable and is rolled out before we do the rebase. I think the longer we wait, the harder it's going to be, possibly.
Great, thanks. Any other topics to discuss? Anything else, anyone? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to make it clear, Barnabas. These metric specs, are they most for more for developers or for users? Because I find it super helpful for a current testing process, and I'm not sure like if it's needed for users, for nodes operators.
I think it's more for developers, at least right now. I don't see any users getting too much valuable information from KCG commitment computation time, for example.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I want to point this out. Probably we shouldn't take a lot of time for for these agreements or namings, like to help the process of testing, like to make it more effective. Yeah, so I would encourage to try these metrics. Thank you. I mean, it's important to agree, but yeah, just to keep it in mind that it's not for final users, as for example, bacon specs. It's for our inner testing process.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely more useful to have these metrics early on than later on. Great, thanks. Thanks, Katja. Yeah, I think last week, sorry, in the last breakout call, Shawe and Josh sent out a form to fill out for the PeerDAS contributors. I don't know if that's been finalized but if you haven't filled out, then just a reminder that the form, I think the form was shared on Discord earlier. If you haven't filled it out. Great. Anything else, anyone? If there's nothing else, then I guess we can finish our call earlier today. Yeah, there's also daylight saving here in Australia. I don't know about elsewhere, but I know that Europe is also having it in 2 weeks. So I think the time might suck a little bit for some people. Maybe we can revisit this in 2 weeks' time. If anyone has any thoughts, feel free to share it in the Discord channel. Oh, thanks for the link, Francesco. Cool. Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll keep chatting on Discord, and we'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.